Hello and welcome to the Traybakes and More Cooking channel. I'm Callie and today I've got another no-bake traybake for you. So these are s'mores bars. If you don't know what a s'more is, it's a classic American campfire treat. Graham crackers sandwiched together with toasted marshmallow and chocolate. Your marshmallow, you're supposed to, roast it over a fire, on a stick. It goes gooey and charred and hot and sticky and delicious, and it starts to melt the chocolate a bit and it's really, really tasty. Messy as well. So these are s'mores in a bar, slightly less messy. I've got a digestive biscuit layer or graham cracker base, if that's what you have, chocolate ganache, which is just chocolate and cream, and then toasted marshmallow on top. Now, if you keep these in the fridge, they sort of stay a little firmer and less messy. If you keep them out of the fridge, then they go a little bit more gooey, a bit more like a s'more. Either way, they are really tasty and very simple. So let's get baking s'mores bars. Okay, today we have a no-bake tray bake, so you do not need to preheat your oven. Prepare your tin in advance, that's not a bad idea. I'm using my usual 8-inch square tin, 20cm square tin, which I have lined with a bit of baking parchment sitting off to one side. Now, there are 3 layers to this s'mores tray bake. The bottom layer is a simple mix of digestive biscuits and melted butter. Digestive biscuits or graham crackers, whichever you can get hold of, just blitz them up to some fairly fine crumbs. Food processor is great for that. If you don't have a food processor, put them into a freezer bag and bash at it with the bottom of a saucepan or with a rolling pin until you get nice fine crumbs. All I'm going to do is to pour the melted butter on top of that, mix it well and press it into the bottom of my tin. Then that goes into the fridge for 30 minutes or so, just to let that firm up a little bit before we move on to the chocolate ganache layer. And then it's simple chocolate ganache, toasted marshmallows, and you have your s'mores bars. So here it is, just pressed nice and firmly into your tin. This isn't getting baked, but it's going to get plenty of time to chill in the fridge. So just press it down nice and firmly, pop this into the fridge, literally just while you're making the chocolate ganache layer, while you're heating up the cream, just to give it a bit of a head start. But that is your base layer done. Now, my biscuit base is chilling in the fridge for a little while we get on with the chocolate layer. Now, this is a simple chocolate ganache, which is just a mixture of chocolate and warm cream. So I'm going to go ahead, tip my chocolate into my big bowl here. It just makes it a bit easier to work with. You can use milk chocolate, dark chocolate, whichever you prefer. And all I'm doing now is heating some cream gently until it just about reaches boiling point. You don't want it to boil, you don't want it to bubble too much, but just to get it really quite nice and warm. Then I'm going to pour the cream over the chocolate. Let it sit there for, a little while. Just let it sit there for 30 seconds or so until everything starts to melt. Then stir it and keep stirring until the chocolate melts and you have this thick, wonderful chocolate ganache, which we will then pour over the biscuit base, and then we will start to assemble with the marshmallows. So like I said, I have my cream, which I have heated up gently on my stove. I'm just going to pour this over the chocolate. Fairly finely chopped up chocolate, but I do have some larger lumps in there. Pour this over. Just let it sit there less than a minute until it's, the heat starts to go in there. Once you start stirring it, you're going to start cooling it down. So let it sit for a little while. Pour on the cream and then mix until you get a rich, thick, consistent chocolate ganache. Here we go. Right, as you mix, it will look a little bit funky to start with, but then very quickly it comes together to this sort of thick, glossy, shiny, beautiful ganache. And if your larger lumps of chocolate, you will still see in there. I have a couple still in there. Just give it a minute or two, and those will also melt. And then we're going to pour it over the biscuit base. Okay, I poured the chocolate ganache over the biscuit base. My biscuit base was in the fridge for 10 minutes or so, and it's already starting to firm up and set nicely. So this comes the interesting part now, where you put the marshmallows on the top. So I have mini marshmallows here. I prefer the look of mini marshmallows. If you want to use large marshmallows, and that is all you've got, then use those. You can just sprinkle these on any which way you want. Be haphazard if that's the sort of thing that you want to do. I prefer to line these up individually, nice and neatly, nice, even rows and columns. You do you, whichever way you prefer it. But all I'm going to do now is spend some time dotting the marshmallows over the top of the chocolate while this is still has not set and it's still, you know, nice and soft. And then we're going to put it in the fridge. So you want to set this in the fridge for an hour or two before you toast the top, but then you have your s'mores bars. So here we go, meticulous lining of mini marshmallows. Right, so it does take a little bit of time if you want to line these up meticulously. If you don't, that is quite all right. You just scatter these on top and push them in. Just push them in gently. It is also quite tricky to manage to do this without getting little bits of chocolate on the marshmallows or on your fingers. And then just tuck them in at the sides if you need to fill in some gaps. They will puff up a little bit when you grill them, when you toast them onto the grill anyway. But here we go. This is it, almost ready. The final stage is just to toast up the marshmallows, but I want the chocolate layer to firm up a little bit before that. So we're going to stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours and then we'll stick this under the grill, get those marshmallows toasted and puffy, and then you have your s'mores tray bake. So we are ready for the final stage. This has had about an hour or so in the fridge. It is set up, it's firmed nicely. The chocolate layer is firmed up a bit. So this is at the point where I'm quite happy with putting this under my grill to toast the marshmallows. Toasted marshmallows is the next phase that you need to make your s'mores tray bake. So I put this under the grill, under a broiler if you're in the US, and just let it get puffy and toasty and golden and delicious. You possibly could use a blowtorch. I am not going to recommend that because, well, I've never tried it because I always line my tin with paper and I don't want to start a fire. So that would give you much more control, it's got to be said. That would be good from a control perspective because sometimes when you use your grill, you've got to turn this and rotate it and get the right spots just to make sure you're getting everything nice and toasty. But anyway, this is going under the grill now. I will bring it back to you when it is done. I'm not going to film the inside of my oven for you because frankly, nobody needs to see the inside of my oven. I am not one of those bloggers who has a totally pristine oven. I have a perfectly normal oven that is not sparkly clean, and I'm not going to stick my camera in there. But here we go, under the grill. Toasted marshmallow. Right, here we go. A minute or so under the grill. That time will vary depending on how close you have this to your grill or how hot your grill is, or any number of factors. It is also one of those things, do not leave this unattended. This will go very quickly from beautifully golden until beautifully charred, unless char is what you're looking for from a nostalgia point of view from all those marshmallows you've ever burnt in a campfire. But here we go. Golden, toasty, quite crispy at this point. It will be hard and crispy at this point, but then it will go ooey and gooey as it settles and cools and firms up. But the center will always be a little bit more golden than the edges. Those are trickier to get a more consistent sort of color over the whole thing. But there you go. Simple as that. No big s'mores tray bake. So keep an eye out for more recipes. Subscribe to my channel, tell your family and friends, and I'll see you again soon on Tray Bakes and More.